All right, everyone. These words were carved into stone more than 3,500 years ago. It's the god Baal speaking. I understand the lightning which the heavens do not know, the word which men do not know, and earth's masses cannot understand. So we've been looking at this squatter man. In all of its glory. This ancient plasmatic torus field that emanated from the assembly of the planet gods. I recently read this somewhat scholarly article on the Sumerian gods. And in conclusion, they just say it's probably aliens. Probably. But we have different answers. Now, before we get into the ancient Sumerian clay tablets, we have to define a few terms. One of them is the Abzu. Now, if you just look this up on a basic search, it's going to tell you the Abzu are just tanks of holy water in the temple. That's it, case closed. But you have to go to the tablets, because the Abzu was the great mooring post of heaven and earth. And King Enki emerges from the Abzu. It's the ancient axis mundi, the navel of the earth, the connection between heaven and earth that was ultimately broken. The connection to the divine council. Now, as above, so below. They wanted the tops of their temples to twinkle like the horns of the holy stags of the Abzu. These are the identifying markers of Squatter Man, being flanked by the two and treading on the beast. Father Enki comes forth from the Abzu. You cause the people who are in its midst to lift their necks towards heaven. So when I see something like this, I just want to flip it over and say, there's the Abzu, the connection to the divine council. Enki, you have gathered up all the divine powers that there are and stored them in the Abzu. Its shadow covers all lands from east to west, and its terrifying splendor rests upon the holy heavens like dense thunderbolts. Father Enki, inspiring terrible awe, surpassing description. And here is Enki with those two rivers flowing from him. Cosmic Enki. Lord of heaven and earth, King of the Abzu. Another term is the ekur. a Sumerian term meaning mountain house. It is the assembly of the gods. Now you have the cosmic ekur and you have the brick-built ekur. Among the Canaanites, the high god was thought to dwell in a temple or tent on the holy mountain. The earthly temple of the deity was considered a copy of the heavenly temple on the mountain. And that is from this book. And this is why we see texts like this in the Old Testament. The Lord says, "Are you the one to build me a house to dwell in?" The idea is, if you had a city or an encampment, of course you had a house where your Lord dwelt in. And you would say, yeah, there it is. He's in there. I mean, you can't go in there, but he's in there. The interior of ekur is artfully fashioned, and no one may come to know it. Brick-built ekur accepts your offerings. Of course, it does. Don't mind if I do. Enlil, the personification of the cosmic mountain. Enlil in the ekur. Your presence spreads awesomeness over the ekur, the shining temple, the lofty dwelling. Its fearsomeness and radiance reach up to heaven. Its shadow stretches over all foreign lands, and its crenulation reaches up to the midst of heaven. We've discussed the evolution of this cosmic mountain into the tree of life and into the squatter man. And this is why we see these kind of texts here in the tablets. Now the splendid eagle tree of Enki on the summit of Inanna's mountain of multicolored cornelian stood fast on the earth like a tower, all shaggy like an aru. Enki, king of the Abzu, rejoicing in great splendor, gathered up all the divine powers and placed them in my hand. So it's all about who has the divine powers, who possesses fully the great divine powers. The Inanna, its great gods, line up before you, and I think this is a nod to the lineup of the planet gods, the Divine Council. So it came about that Enki and Inanna were drinking beer together in the Abzu. I will give them to holy Inanna. And so he's talking about the divine powers. She seizes the divine powers in heaven, proudly with her head reaching up, whose radiance makes the nighttime secure like a fire which lights up into the distance. Inanna stands among stags in the mountaintops. She possesses fully the divine powers. Inanna had gathered up the divine powers and embarked onto the boat of heaven. Goddess of the fearsome divine powers, you destroy mighty lands. Inanna, the queen of heaven and earth, destroyed her city, Unug. Raining blazing fire down upon the land, endowed with divine powers. The lady who rides upon a beast, destroyer of the foreign lands. You have made awesome terror way upon the land. Ninurta is yet another name, another manifestation of Squatterman. You have caused its cities to be counted as ruin mounds. Inanna, your gaze is lordly as it surveys all the foreign lands in heaven and earth. She damned its forests and cursed its trees. She killed its oak trees with drought. She poured fire on its flanks. Ninurta brought forth the anzu bird from the Haluparan tree. He brought forth the seven-headed serpent. At the edge of the land, Anzu and Ninurta encountered each other. So there's a lot of talk about this double-headed eagle, where it comes from. Ninurta was stunned at these words of the Anzu chick. These divine powers have not fallen into my hand. I shall not live like him in the shrine, in the Abzu. Again, flanked by the two and treading on the beast. Now here it looks like this Anzu bird is carrying someone. But this evolves into the double-headed eagle. We can see how it's just another story of this ancient apocalypse. Between the hero and the serpent. It uprooted the sky. Like a snake, it slid its head along the ground. It roared at the land. It tore the flesh of the earth, covered her with painful wounds. It set fire to the reed beds, bathed the sky in blood, turned it inside out. It dispersed the people there. The fields became black scum across the whole extent of the horizon, reddish like purple dye. Truly, it was so. His hand induced terror in the land. Enlil struck out with great ferocity. A malevolent storm that enshrouds heaven and earth. Lightning that flashes far like the Anzu bird. A blazing fire that extends as far as the netherworld. Its arms shall be the majestic Anzu bird, that nothing can escape when it spreads wide its talons. Alas, so that heaven trembled and earth huddled at his feet and was terrified at his strength. Enlil became confused and went out of the ekur. The mountains were devastated. That day the earth became dark. The gods dispersed. The Inanna disappeared over the horizon like sheep. It caused a rain of coals and flaming fires. The fire consumed men. And this is how it ends, with the Inanna disappearing over the horizon like sheep. Guys, thanks so much. Hope all of you have a great night.